Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Shout out, by the way. I don't shout y'all out enough, but shout out to all of my people who listen to the podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast from, Google Podcasts, Podcaster, blah, 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 blah. It's everywhere. I think there's something to be said for quarterbacks being praised above what everyone else on a team is praised for, right? It kind of comes with the territory. They get the praise, they get the money. But the fourth quarter comeback statistic, can we all just agree that this is the biggest sham in all of football? Like, why are we giving quarterbacks credit for comebacks when they are the reason that the team is behind in the first place? Can somebody please explain it to me like I'm an 8-year-old. Explain it to me like I don't know any better. Why are we giving props and credit to quarterbacks for coming back in a game, for coming back in the fourth quarter of a game where the only reason they're losing is because they've played horribly? I watched the Buccaneers Saints game last night. The Buccaneers should not have lost that game. Luckily for the Buccaneers, the Saints are starting Andy Dalton at quarterback. Luckily for the Bucs, the Saints are trying to lose on purpose for whatever reason. I have not figured that out yet. For whatever reason, the Saints are trying to lose on purpose, and they're playing Andy Dalton, who, when you look at a stat book, his stats won't look that bad. Like, his stats won't make you sit back and go, oh, he's not very good. Andy Dalton went 20 for 28 yesterday, 229 yards and a touchdown. And it was the most bland, unassuming, non-play making 229 yards ever. Safe, right? Safe checkdowns, all of these things. Anytime they need a big play or an explosive play, they got to take him out the game and put Taysom Hill in. It should tell you everything that you really need to know about Andy Dalton as a quarterback. Yet he's out there. Leave the guy with the arm. Everybody talks about how important arm strength and the ability to throw it and having a little bit of mobility to be able to escape. And yet they have that. He's sitting on the bench because they said we want to ride the consistency of Andy Dalton. Well, good. Congratulations. You've ridden the consistency of Andy Dalton, and now you're going to be at home when the playoffs start. Because at 4-9, you're not making the playoffs. Not with 4 teams in the NFC East above 500. Saints is done. It's over for you guys. Sorry. Well, not sorry. I don't really care. Like, you got what you deserve. How dare you have the talent system would make both of these teams better, because Tom Brady looked equally horrible. Actually, if we're being honest, Tom Brady looked much worse than Andy Dalton last night. He looked much worse than Andy Dalton last night. That is saying something. It is 100% saying something when Andrew Dalton looks better than Tom Brady, but he did last night. And when it was all said and done, Tom Brady had a nice statistical day. 281 yards. Don't pay any attention to the fact that he had to throw the ball 54 times. 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception. But up until the fourth quarter, he didn't have nearly that amount of yards. He didn't have any touchdowns, and he had 1 interception. It was not a good game. And all of a sudden, in the fourth quarter, because of the Saints' futility on offense, and because you do have legitimate playmakers all over the place for the Buccaneers, they were able to get some things going. And now Tom Brady, who was the reason why they were losing, right? Who was the reason that they were losing 13-3 going into the fourth quarter, is now being celebrated in the headlines. If you go to the homepage for football on ESPN, the headline reads, Tom Brady leads Bucs to miraculous Monday Night Football comeback win. Right underneath it, it says, Brady leads record-setting comeback as Buccaneers take down Saints. Over on the right-hand side, it says, Brady tops Peyton with the latest fourth quarter stunner. We're celebrating? We're celebrating this. You're telling me that the performance that we saw from Tom Brady last night was one of celebration? That we should be celebrating that futility that we saw last night? Why would we celebrate? Why would we celebrate that? Why would we celebrate him for what he did last night? Celebrate him for a bunch of stuff. He's the GOAT. Cool. Why would we celebrate him for last night? That was a horrible performance. Why does he get credit for being bad and then having one quarter where he does some good things? By the way, this is why so many people think Justin Herbert is good. I've said before, he's the gift and the curse. Supremely talented, wildly talented, all of the tools in the world. But he gets the lemon booty to steal the same from Bomani Jones. He gets the lemon booty whenever games are tight. So if he does do something to bring them back in the fourth quarter, where he's now amassed all of these accounting stats, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Who cares? What about the other 3 quarters, the 3.5 quarters that you were terrible? We just forget about that, and then we celebrate and praise you for the 1 quarter that you were good? Make it make sense to me. Why is that a quarterback stat? Shouldn't the defense get some love? Hey, the defense didn't give up any points in the fourth quarter. That allowed for the quarterback to have the opportunity to come back. Where is that at? Somebody tell me the stats where the defense is praised and where the defensive coordinators, like people have been on, the coaching staff for the Bucs, and for good reason, right? The Buccaneers have underachieved. Now, I could argue they're right where they should be, because with the injuries to their team, that was going to cripple what they were able to do with their 875-year-old quarterback. So when you lose offensive lineman here and offensive lineman there, and this guy retires and this guy gets hurt for the season, you're going to struggle. That's how it goes. When your guy can't move, when he can't be elusive, when they sit on the short routes, he doesn't have time to get it off to the deep routes. And when he does, he has to be deadly accurate because their deep ball guy doesn't get any separation. Well, that's what we got, right? You're going to struggle. Now, they've taken a lot of flack, but Tom Brady has skated on what has been, in my opinion, an absolutely horrible season for him. Now, I'm willing to shoot him the bell in this. I think the relationship stuff has weighed on his heart, has messed up his psyche. I think if he comes back next year, you get a much better Tom Brady, sans a year worth of clarity from this relationship with his new life in order and on track. I think you get a much better Tom Brady next year. I know that sounds crazy because he's going to be 885 years old, but I think you get a better Tom Brady next year. I think that everything that's happened has played a legitimate role in what we see on the field. We don't talk about it enough. We just, a lot of times, just assume that these guys suck or that they just fallen off or it's over for them. We don't take it into account the personal lives. What we've seen with Tom Brady is what everybody in the NFL goes through, except publicly. There's so many guys in the NFL going through the same thing that Tom Brady's going through. Yet it's not public, so you don't know it, you don't see it, so you can't sympathize or empathize with it. You can empathize with it with Brady. But we got to stop. We got to stop with praising these quarterbacks for being good, praising them for fourth quarter comebacks when they are the reason that they are down. Now, if it's a situation where your defense just can't stop anybody and you're scoring and scoring and scoring and your defense gives up a whole bunch of, okay, all right. See, they make it sound like it's a closer, but it's not a closer. And you know why? Because the closer, when he gets a save, he wasn't the one that put the team in the deficit. At least most times he's not, right? When the closer comes in, the closer's coming in to get the save because the team are starting, the pitchers that were in before him are starting to give up runs. So he has to save the day. It's not on him. He came in and did that. Anytime that it happens where the pitcher comes in a non-save situation, and then because of the way he pitched, it becomes a save situation, I don't think he deserves a save. It's that simple. Let's stop celebrating quarterbacks for a statistic that is mostly brought on by their ineptitude. I'm going to leave you guys with this. There's an old saying that says, if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. We make fun of the saying. Yeah, I stay ready, so I don't got to get ready. But the truth is, there's a lot of truth in it, right? There's a lot of truth in it. We as people in the sports media, we have a responsibility to report what we see. We have a responsibility to report the news. And in some cases, we have a responsibility to give our opinion or our analysis on what's going on. And yet, when you go into a press box of a sporting event, when you go to a press conference, you see a lot of people who are in the media not happy to be there. And in many cases, not prepared in a manner that allows us to do our jobs better because of the collective's questioning. You don't know how many times I go to an interview, a press conference, not an interview, to a press conference where you get 4 or 5 people that essentially ask the same question, just in different ways. Is it so important for one person to get their question off that they had written that they're going to ask that question, even though they kind of sort of answered the question already. Now that's one less question. That's one less bit of information the collective gets. But if you were ready, if you really paid attention to the games, if you paid attention to the sport, if you knew it inside out, and you heard someone ask a question similar to yours, that allows you to now ask a different question. This is journalism 101. See, I can't speak for anyone else. I'm just going to talk about myself and the people I roll with. We stay ready. Whatever aspect of the game you need, we got you. For me, I have always said I am associated with football, but I love and I have an affection and I have a deep knowledge about multiple sports. So anytime I get the opportunity to do something on basketball, I'm ready. Something on football, of course. Baseball, I'm ready. Soccer, I'm ready. You want volleyball? I got you. You want cricket? I got you. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. You need somebody to write 1,000 words for you? I got you. You need somebody to go and record a podcast for you? I've got you. You need someone to do a stand-up for you? I've got you. You need someone to edit stuff down? I got you. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. Because the opportunities in life don't wait for you to be ready. The opportunity doesn't come and say, okay, get ready. The opportunity comes and either you can seize the opportunity because you're ready or you can't. And if you fake and act like you're ready and you're not ready and you produce something that's whack, guess what? You don't get the opportunity again. This is life. This is life in every walk of life. You've got to be ready for the opportunity when the opportunity comes to you. When the opportunity presents itself, sometimes you've got to get yourself to where the opportunity might be. Even if that means you got to spend your own money. Even if that means you got to work through things on your own. Every opportunity that I have received has been because I had the initiative to go and do first. When I was still in college, I was able to have a piece published in the Boston Globe. I was at the Worcester Telegram and Gazette on a summer internship that I was not being paid for. Yes, I know it's crazy, people out there, but in the journalism game, you had to work for free. Not just for a little money, but for free on these summer internships. Not, hey, here's a little stipend. Nope, for free. I worked all summer in the Worcester Telegram and Gazette for free. And I was covering stuff that the regular beat writers and sports writers at the TNG didn't want to do. So I wrote a story about the Longs Joe, and people up in Massachusetts area, you'll know what I'm talking about. The Longs Joe cycling race. And I wrote a story about somebody participating in it. It was a human interest story, had a little evergreen to it. It was published. My publisher said, hey, you did a good job on this. And I was like, thank you. And in my mind, I was like, of course I did good on this. I'm me. Right? So, unbeknownst to me, publisher hits me up, says, hey, they're gonna pick up your story in the Boston Globe. I said, oh, wow, that's a thing? Well, yeah, because, certain companies own certain other companies, or there's a parent company over all of these, so they share stories. And they said, well, the Globe wanted to do something on the long show, but they didn't have anybody there to cover it. So they just took your story. Boom. Sports writers in the room. I've been working in sports for 30 years. I've never had a story in the Globe. I don't do that to beat my chest, right? Because that was ages ago. I'm ancient compared to when that was, right? I don't do that to beat my chest. I'm trying to give you the point of I was ready. And I took the initiative. So at a very young age, where most writers might have only had a byline in their local newspaper, I had a byline in a newspaper that was nationally respected because I was willing to take that job for free, because I was willing to do that sport that nobody else would do, and because I put my best foot forward when I did it. So if you're out there and you've got goals, you've got dreams, you've got ambition, you've got to prepare yourself as if you already have the job, as if you already have the opportunity. So when the opportunity comes, and trust me, it will, when that opportunity comes, you just grab it and you run with it and you don't give it back. You don't let it go. When these opportunities come and you're able to put your finger on it, you press down hard. Because if you don't, there'll be the next person that's sitting there waiting to take that opportunity, and they'll be ready. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, you know what to do. Like, subscribe. We're over 3. We're trying to get to 4. Y'all know what it is. Until next time, peace.